students, Algebra 2 students, and anyone who seeks truth. In this video, we will look at a function that deals with growth of bacteria. And in particular, we're going to learn here how to use transformations to our advantage. So it says we are growing bacteria in a lab, and after 2 hours there are 12 bacteria, and then there are 43 of them there after 5 hours. If the growth is exponential, how many bacteria will there be 24 hours? And so I like to always set up a table of value, time here, and B of t here, we'll use B for bacteria. So when we start out there at 2 hours, there are 12 of these bacteria. And after 5 hours rather, there are 43 of these bacteria. And the question is, how many will there be 24 hours after? Now, we can certainly write an exponential function using this table of values here, but there's a slightly better way. So we're going to perform a transformation, and the reason we'll do this will become clear in a minute. And maybe I shouldn't use B of t, maybe I should use C of t just to make a distinguishing feature of this function. Okay, so instead of 0 here, instead of 2 here, I'm going to say 0. When t is equal to 0, there are 12 bacteria. And then 3 hours later, right, from 2 to 5 is 3 hours, so 3 hours later, there's going to be 43 bacteria. And the question is, after, instead of 24 hours, at t equals 21 hours, in other words, 19 hours after this time here, from 5 to 24 is 19 hours, from 3 to 21 is 19 hours, how many will there be? Okay. And this is exactly what I have here written in blue is exactly the same problem that I have of what I have written in red, except it's just a little bit easier to work with. And let me show you why. So we know that the growth here is exponential. So we could do something like this. We know that C of t is equal to, and the exponential form is some initial value times the base raised to the exponent, which is the input or the time. We know that when C is equal to 12, the time was 0. Okay. And this is really nice because b to the 0 is just 1, so we know that 12 is equal to a, our initial amount here. So we can update our function and say that C of t is equal to 12 times b to the t, and then we can use this data point and say that when t is equal to 3, C of t is equal to 43. So we're substituting in 43 for C of t and 3 for t, and then we can work out the details here. Let's see what we get. 43 over 12 raised to the 1/3 is equal to b. So the final equation that I get for C of t is equal to 12 times the base here, which is 43 over 12, raised to the 1/3 raised to the t. So we can say this is t over 3. And that gives me C of t. Now, just a little bit more for learning purposes, if we want to figure out what B of t is, well, B of t is the exact same thing as C of t, except it has been shifted. Okay, so if we want to go from C of t to B of t, all we're doing is shifting 2 units to the left. I'm sorry, to the right. From C to B is 2 units to the right. Okay, so this is effectively saying we're going to take C of t, saying 12 times 43 over 12 and raised, instead of t, we're going to go 2 units to the right. Then remember, in the transformations world, horizontally, everything's a little bit backwards. So t minus 2 over 3. Okay. So you can see here that if I were to plug in 2 into b of t, I would get exactly the same thing as plugging 0 into c of t. So now I just want to show you that these two functions here in green are exactly the same. And if we want to answer the question, how many bacteria are there after 24 hours? Well, we could solve this one of two ways. We could plug 24 into b of t, or we could plug, man, what am I doing here? Oh, this 21, I knew something was wrong with this. This shouldn't be 21. This should be 22. Sorry about that. So the arithmetic here is a little bit off. So these numbers in blue are 2 less than all the numbers in red. Okay, good thing we checked that. So anyways, we could take 24 and plug it into b of t, or we could take 22 and plug it into c of t, and we'll get the exact same result. So let's just plug 22 into c of t. C of 22 is equal to 12 times 43 over 12 raised to the 22 over 3. And that will come out to be approximately, and since this is bacteria, we're going to round it to the nearest whole number. Alright, so we get approximately 139,301. So 139,301 bacteria after 24 hours. If you were to take 24 and plug it into b of t, you'll see that you'll get exactly the same result. As always, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.